Hi everyone, so this is a very spontaneous video. I was so kindly reminded in the comment section of my last video, and thank you, by the way, for all of the love and the support and for just listening to me. That has been weighing on me for a while, so I'm very grateful for the people who took the time to listen to me. Anyway, moving right along, so many wonderful people reminded me of my detective skills. The naked cherry reveal, shall we say. I can't believe it was like 2 years ago now, when I revealed the naked cherry palette and collection. And I've done a couple little like sleuthing things since, but not a lot. Honestly, I didn't think people were super interested in it, but I love doing research. For those of you who don't know, I work in a library. Research is my thing. So I had some free time today, and I decided to do some digging into Trademarks again. I found some cool stuff, including something that I found pictures for. So we're not going to get into that one right away though. We're going to start with Becca. So I was interested to look up Becca because of the whole zero pigment weird foundation thing they just came out with. What the heck? I generally really like Becca. I'd call them one of my favorite brands, but that release was kind of weird. So I found the Mirrored trademark. So they have trademarked a product tentatively called Mirrored. I do have notes on my phone, by the way. Like I said, this is pretty spontaneous. I did my research, but like in a couple of hours time, so I'm just gonna comfortably read what I've discovered. There wasn't a whole lot of information about it. Sometimes with trademarks, there's a little bit of a description of the product. Like if it's for something specific, it might tell you it's going to be for eyeshadow or for foundation or for face products. Sometimes it's just general cosmetic. So there wasn't anything specific with this one, but I think Becca is really known for the glow. The first products that come to mind when I think about Becca is the highlighters. So Mirrored to me could really reflect that. I'm here all night. Okay, so like with the zero pigment nonsense and all that stuff, I could see a mirrored product really play well with that. Maybe glass skin. I think Becca's clever enough to do something like that. I am kind of curious to see what it would be. There was a few trademarks that like of Becca products that they just recently released, and this seemed to be the only thing that I couldn't find any recently released product for. So I'd have to keep my eye on the trademarks. Maybe I will do this kind of regularly, maybe make it a series. I was talking to my friend Emily and she was like, maybe a makeup detective series, and I was like, that's totally my jam. So anyway, that was the only thing for Becca, but that's why Becca was on my mind, and as one of my favorite brands, I thought that I would try a little search. So the next brand I found a couple trademarks for is Too Faced. I found a product called Bear Hug. Not a lot of detail with this trademark either. It fits in with the Too Faced, sexy, cute kind of vibes. You know, bare naked, a bear hug. It makes sense. It makes me think of something that would be really close to the face. So like a product called Bear Hug doesn't make me think of an eyeshadow per se. It makes me think more of like a primer or like a skincare / priming makeup. That they've kind of done this stuff before with like the Hangover products, or it could potentially be a lightweight foundation that's supposed to, you know, bear all because of that whole play on words. So there was a couple different options about what it could be. I also like to speculate with the trademarks about what it could be and just kind of give my 2 cents. It doesn't mean that this is the actual thing these products are going to be, by the way. And trademarks are free to search. You don't have to create an account. You don't have to do anything special. Anybody can search it up. The next trademark I found from Too Faced is the Better Than Sex Ooh La Length. Presumably the mascara, because they have the Better Than Sex mascara. I cringed when I read the name. It feels like something that they've already released, but I did a Google search and couldn't find anything, so it obviously seems like it's going to be a lengthening version of their best-selling mascara. Melted Light is another trademark I found without a lot of detail. However, Too Faced has the melted lipsticks, so Melted Light makes me think that that would be part of that collection, a lighter version. I've tried a handful of the melted lipsticks before, very full coverage, very matte for the most part, and I think that a lighter version of that would be pretty cool, like a lip stain, melted light. It at least lets people who are familiar with the brand and familiar with the melted lip products automatically know what it is. So it would really make sense to me. Melted light, like a lip stain, a very light sort of wash of color. I would hope that it's something like light and colorful and not just clear. I think it would be really cool to do just those kind of whisper of color things. I'm kind of interested to see, you know, something a little bit softer. And the last Too Faced new trademark I found was for something called Peach Bloom. Again, with peach, they have the peach collection and multiple peach products. For some reason, it immediately made me think of blush. I think because of the Natasha Denona Bloom blush palette. I can't think of what else Peach Bloom would be besides blush. Like a Peach Bloom eyeshadow palette would be potentially pretty cool if you were thinking about peaches as they are sort of coming to fruition. A better version of the Sweet Peach palette, maybe with more of those sort of earthy tones, just because that's what I think of when I think of bloom. But knowing Too Faced, it's probably something simple like scented blush. I'm just not surprised, but actually, you know, I'm kind of surprised they haven't moved away from the peach stuff. I thought that they would have kind of came up with a new collection by now, something a little bit different, so I'm kind of surprised that they're still trademarking peach stuff. Now, just because something's trademarked as well doesn't mean that they're actually going to release a product. I purposely look for new and active trademarks and not things that are dead, but sometimes they might get an idea, they go through the process of trademarking it. Sometimes they run into problems that they can't actually fulfill the trademark because it's not as simple as just submitting it. They actually have to go through multiple steps in order to get the name approved, and maybe it was contested, so they're going back and they're changing the name a little bit, or maybe trends changed so rapidly that they decide to drop it because sometimes it would be worth the money that they would have spent to try and get the trademark instead of producing a product that people wouldn't necessarily be interested in. Now, Natasha Denona. Okay, so I can't believe I never thought to do digging into Natasha Denona before. And the stuff I found. Oh my god. Okay, so you're gonna have to bear with me here because I found some cool stuff and some stuff that made me very, very excited. So I found a trademark for Chromium Collection, specifically labeled as eyeshadow. So it makes me think of the chrome eyeshadows and the chrome trend that was really popular in like 2002. I definitely rocked chrome eyeshadow and chrome nails. Honestly, it was always like silver chrome and like the gray chrome. There was like gray and different sort of shades of chrome, gold and bronze and that kind of stuff for eyeliners. It was a thing for a hot second in like 2002. And that's what this makes me think of. And I'm like, oh my god, please. Please. Anytime I'm really excited for something, like I was just talking about being excited for chrome things. I think I filmed like 7 videos that I haven't edited yet because I've done a lot of pre-filming where I've been home so much. So I need to get to editing that. But in a fantasy palette video, I'm pretty sure that's going to be coming soon when I talk about chrome stuff. So it could also be duochromes because Natasha Denona is pretty known for duochromes. She's released a few sort of individual single duochrome type products. There's often a duochrome shadow in her eyeshadow palettes, which are phenomenal and some of the best formula. So a duochrome collection would be amazing. Like my reaction was, this is going to be very specific to me, and keeping it in 2002. There's a scene in Gilmore Girls, I'm just rewatching the series again for like the 100 millionth time, where, spoilers I guess, Max is talking to Rory about engagement rings for Lorelai, and he's explaining this one that's a little art deco, and she's like a dog, and she's like panting and like barking, and that's me when I read this Chromium Collection thing, because it just makes me so excited. Anyway, it's right up my street. There is something called Crystal Glow Face Palette, and it's a face palette of eyeshadow, blush, and highlighter. So it's intriguing. She's done face palettes before that have been blush and highlighter. I don't recall ever a palette that also included eyeshadow. I have flashbacks to some of those terrible ones with like from Urban Decay, like the Naked Flushed palette or something with like the strips of color and like the really terrible eyeshadows and everything was just bad. I don't think that's what Natasha would do, but what would be really cool is if it was something that the products could be used interchangeably. There's no rules when it comes to makeup. Like, feel free, put a blush, there's no rules when it comes to makeup. Feel free, use an eyeshadow as a blush. But sometimes the pigment in blush isn't necessarily eye safe. So to have something that would be versatile and something that would be able to be used without any sort of issues or irritation, I think that would be really cool. So that's what I'm keeping my fingers for. If it's like a multi-purpose kind of palette with shadow, blush, highlighters that could be used in any way, that'd be really cool. The next thing is an eye crayon trademark called Macro Tech. So with macro being large, I'm thinking of like a chunky sort of crayon with like a wide tip or something, just not like a stereotypical eyeliner. Like for a second, this is a brow pencil, but you know, I was just thinking like something tiny, but macro. So it would be something larger. I think it would be really cool to have some different shades, because I can imagine like the generic crayons. They used to be really popular a while ago, like black and white, and people would use them as bases in lieu of, or sometimes with eyeshadow primer to put shadows on top of. But just imagine like a burgundy or a green or like a deep blue, so it's still dark, still would pack a punch. You could probably still use it as like an eyeliner and do like a sort of thick chunky line around your eye and like blend it out, but you could use it as a base, and imagine those like chrome shadows on top of it. Instead of on like a black base, it's on a burgundy base, it's on a blue base, it would be transformative. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for the Macro Tech. Another cool Natasha Denona trademark, there's a few things I found like a lot. This is called Puff Paint. It's described as being a liquid blush serum. So the image that comes to mind immediately was the Glossier Cloud Paints, I think because paint's also in the word, but it does really remind me of the image of those, like soft, buildable color. I am really excited for this book. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for everything. I just want to see what these things look like and how they perform. A liquid blush serum sounds so cool. I would love to see striking shades and softer shades. I would like to see stuff, you know, like beiges and pinks and browns, but also purples and reds. Maybe some unique sort of shades that you don't normally see in blushes. I think that would really set this apart. If it's just generic shades, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. A liquid blush serum is going to be really cool, and it's very on trend for right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see these released really, really soon, to be honest. Just because this seems to be the kind of stuff that people really, really want to use. It's simple, it's like that finger paint thing, probably something that you can just apply with your fingers quickly and go, but obviously blend it in with a brush options. If you've ever used like a cream or liquid blush before, you know how it works. But I just think that it would really stand out if there were some different shades as well, as opposed to just a bunch of neutral colors. But that's just my opinion. I just think it would be really fun to play with some different shadows. Now, there are some eyeshadow palette trademarks I found. I found a trademark for Mini Xenon. Within 3 seconds, I found photos of Mini Xenon, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's simple. It's incredibly simple, but it is beautiful. It's the kind of stuff that I was talking about before when I've talked about the ColourPop, the Smoke Show palette. And I think in a previous video like this where I was talking about Urban Decay trademarks, I was talking about wanting like a simple little set of like cool toned grays and shadow like this. So it looks to be 4 matte shades and 1 metallic. So the lightest shade looks a little beigey in some lights, but I'm pretty sure it's a softer pink. And then there's 2 shades of gray and a black, and then the metallic is a silver in the middle. I would have liked to have seen maybe 1 more shimmery shade. It's simple, it's beautiful, you could do so much with this, but I wish like the pink maybe had a little bit more shimmer, or even if one of the grays was a little bit more dimensional maybe. Now, it's just because of this picture doesn't mean that it's actually all 4 matte shades. One could be more of like a satin, and it does make a difference in terms of application, which would be pretty cool. I can't really see 4 straight up matte shades with 1 metallic. I feel like there's usually some sort of twist to at least one of them. It just seems a little unusual to compared to like what Natasha like minis usually are. But I'm definitely going to be dreaming up a 15 pan fantasy version of the Xenon palette. There was no just Xenon trademark, it was just the minis. So there's probably not going to be a larger. Now I don't have the trademark listed in my list here. I was pretty sure I saw a mini Love trademark as well. So there was the Love palette that came out a few months ago, and then mini Love was trademarked. Maybe I didn't see that. Maybe I lost it. My computer did crash when I was searching. I'm gonna do a quick search again, and if there is the mini Love trademark, I will insert it here. But that would essentially be like a 5 pan version of the Love palette, so I think that would be pretty beautiful, and that would be very rich as well. And I think the mini Love and the mini Xenon would probably complement each other really well if there's like red shades going with those grays. I'm just so excited about makeup. I'm sorry. The last 2 trademarks I found are for the Zendo and the Zendo Mini. So with those names, I think Zen Garden, I think peaceful. And how fascinating would like a Zen Garden inspired palette be? I don't feel like Natasha really has anything that would be gray and brown and green. I know there was that larger palette with a lot of the greens in it, but to have like her 15 pan, especially since she's been doing sort of like the slightly smaller sized ones that are less expensive than like the Sunset and the Gold palette, sort of like the Love palette, and I think it was the Sunrise palette as well, so are those ones. That's what I'm hoping that the Zendo will be, and something with a lot of greens and a lot of cool like taupe grays, browns, very, very earthy. I think that would be fantastic, and I think it would really fit with the name. So I was very excited to talk about those things and just hypothesize about what they could be. Last, I have to throw in some Urban Decay. I have to. Anytime I do these videos, like I have to find something to talk about for Urban Decay. So I found Stay Naked Freestyler, described as being specifically foundation / concealer. The Stay Naked line is definitely Urban Decay's new thing, and the emphasis is skin focus, so I don't imagine anything full coverage or matte or heavy, but who knows. I really just think of something kind of light, and freestyler makes me think of just something that you can kind of put on and go. I found the Naked Urban Decay Quickie. So Urban Decay trademarks have started to look like this because they're harder to find when you're searching for them. So like they split up the Naked Urban Decay with another word, so they kind of rearranged it a little bit. It's probably an eyeshadow palette, but pro tip, don't Google Naked Quickie in quotations unless you're prepared for it. I was not. I've seen some things and some stuff. But my guess is an eyeshadow palette, probably something on the smaller side, being something called Quickie. It makes me think of a little sort of, hey, grab and go. What would be really cool is if it was a palette of one and done eyeshadows, so things you can just use that one shadow, blend it out and go. Or even a small palette where you can just do like 2 shadows. So it's like one sort of like duochrome interesting shadow with the matte shade you can use to blend out if you don't want to use just the one shadow. But honestly, just like a 6 pan little palette with a bunch of one and done shades I think would be really cool if Urban Decay would do something like that. But let's be real. It's probably going to be 3 shades of brown and a shade of beige and like some pearlescent white color. I did have a last second thought that Naked Quickie could also be some kind of face product, like a tinted moisturizer or something, like one of those like all-in-one with your moisturizer and face primer and everything and go. But I know they have a couple of other sort of similar products like that, so I don't really see them being repetitive and do it. But again, it's Urban Decay, so they very well could. The Stay Naked Tint Tonic is another for the Stay Naked line. This is the one that also makes me think of blush or one of those combo lip cheek things. I'm honestly not a fan of like the combo lip cheek things because I feel like they're usually formulated quite strongly for one over the other. Like it'll be a little too pigmented to use on the cheeks, like it's difficult to blend out, or it's kind of sticky because it's really better as sort of like a glossy kind of lip product, or it's incredibly sheer on your cheeks. Like I just I wish there would be less of those duo lip cheek things and more focus on one. And I feel like there's a lot of sheer lip products. There's a lot of lip balm, a lot of gloss. You can pretty easily sheer out a lip product if you want to, where you can't really add pigment to things. I'd really like to see more sheer blush options, you know, like the Natasha upcoming blush serum. Seeing some sort of tint tonic blush would be neat. Tonic could also be some sort of skincare kind of product as well. Maybe some, I guess, a tint tonic. So it could be, I don't want to say like another tinted moisturizer, but perhaps it could be something like that. Just that, you know, like 1% tint with the rest of it being like good for your skin crap. But anyway, sorry, I feel like that's more like Urban Decay speed, because I honestly, all TL shade, I don't see them being innovative enough to do something like a cheek tint. Prove me wrong. And lastly, a new Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. I found the trademark for Naked 3 Mini. What has taken so long? Why? Why has it taken so long for them to get on the Naked 3 Mini train? I remember when the Naked Basics came out, paired with the Naked palette, Naked 2 Basics came out. I was like, yes, we are getting Naked 3 Basics. I'm so excited. The Naked 3 at the time was my favorite eyeshadow palette, so I was so excited. And then we got the Naked Ultimate Basics. What the hell was that? That was such a letdown. And I remember wanting some little version of the Naked 3. I don't have my Naked 3 palette anymore. I got rid of it when I had pink eye, because it was one of the last things I used when I had pink eye, and I really just didn't want to contaminate myself again. But it's one of the palettes I miss the most. I frequently think about like wanting to use that palette. I think about it more than I think about some of the palettes I actually own. So this is something that I'm very intrigued, because if it's those beautiful sort of dusky purpley pink shades with those grays, like, I'm excited. Give me those cool tones. I'm ready. I've been ready. I never stopped being ready. So I have ridiculously high hopes for this, which means it's going to be an utter disappointment, of course. But that's not going to stop me from being excited for when it inevitably is launched. And I'm going to keep my eye out for any little leaks or spoilers or anything that I can get my little grubby paws on, and I will be sure to pass it along. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much to everyone who brought up my previous videos where I'd done trademark stuff and talking about the Urban Decay Naked Cherry and all that. It was fun to relive that and think about those sweet memories. And to do this, I was very excited and very motivated to do it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, if you'd like this to be like a monthly series or something, then let me know, because I love doing research and I'd love to do it. So anyway, that's all. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.